I didn't do any type of videos on Muhammad Ali yesterday. I wanted to wait. I wanted to absorb, and I wanted to reflect. I also wanted to observe the major cable news channels on how they were going to treat the passing of this man. I need to get this off my chest. So before I do this clip with Al Sharpton, I just want to go on record regarding a matter of respect. MSNBC was on all day, non-stop, with various aspects of the life of Muhammad Ali. They had dozens of people to come on either by phone, video link, etc., giving testimony to the life and effects of relationships with Muhammad Ali. CNN basically started at the same time that MSNBC did. They took an hour break where they did some basketball show for an hour, and then they came right back on and continued to highlight and give respect to Muhammad Ali, his life and the things that he accomplished. Fox came on early at the same time as the other two networks. They did 2 hours on the passing of Muhammad Ali, and then they jumped to other subjects. They stayed off of the subject of the passing of Muhammad Ali for the next 3, I believe it was 3, could have been 4, but at least 3 hours, and decided to do stories on idiotic subjects. Now they finally did come back on with and I forget the lady's name. They have a black female weekend host. They came on with her and another white guy, and they did a really decent job when they came back on. They interviewed various people that knew him, people that he had fought against in the ring, every last one of them giving a testimony to the greatness of Ali. Now perhaps, and I was going to do a video totally trashing them, but giving it a day in retrospect, perhaps they just weren't prepared to give accolades to Muhammad Ali and had to scramble in order to come up with the proper hosts and programming in order to give this man his due. I question that only because MSNBC was Johnny on the spot and had no problem with their programming across their various shows giving tribute to Mr. Ali. CNN, again, was right there, and except for a small blip of an hour, had no problem giving tribute to this man. Fox, however, for some unexplainable reason, needed at least 3 to 4 hours to figure out what they needed to do. And in my opinion, I have no facts to back this up, but in my opinion, they were monitoring the various cable channels and news outlets and figured that they were so far behind the curve that it was embarrassing, and then scrambled to come up with something. For Fox, you wonder why you have a problem with your viewership as far as minorities are concerned. Well, here's one example. In my mind, it was a matter of disrespect for you not to give the approximate coverage of the other two networks. You guys can scramble about a plane going down, about a shooting, and just go on for hours and hours and hours and hours ad infinitum over those subjects. And again, those subjects are not trivial. And they do deserve the coverage that you give them, as does MSNBC and CNN when they do the same thing. But when it comes to the passage of this man, who is a legend, hard fought, because if you recall, when he changed his religion, you had a very large segment of the American population that basically started to turn against him. And then when he stood up for his rights, as far as being a conscientious objector, and made the statement that he wasn't going to go overseas to kill someone who never called him the N-word, and that his enemy was right here in America, it was at that point that a large segment of the American population turned totally against him, to the point that I'm surprised that there were no assassination attempts. Now, because this man gave his all, he gave up the prime years of his boxing career. He went from country to country, never advocating violence, and speaking more about love than anything else, and becoming, over time, universally accepted because he was right. He was right, and people just didn't want to accept this black man having more compassion and empathy for his fellow man, whether they were Muslim, Christian, Jew, or any other religious denomination, having no care for a person based on the color of their skin, black, brown, or white, and only dealing with people in a negative manner when they demonstrated their willingness and ability to only want to deal with him because of the color of his skin. This is a man who we should all have aspired to be like. Now, there's all kinds of stories. You can go dig them up. They're going to be all over YouTube all over mainstream media about his life, his history, how he loved people. He was a non-discriminatory person. I'm sorry, non-discriminatory person. Even up until the last months of his life. If more people were like him, and less people like a Donald Trump or a Mitch McConnell, this country, no, this world would be a better place. Muhammad Ali is gone. His voice can still be heard. And we need to place a megaphone, a countrywide megaphone, so that we all hear his voice. We all take his words into our hearts. We all seek to love one another as he asked us to do.